Alon, Wasalon, you with the nasty pastor, and I'm back with another chapter. Read from Ramses, the Son of Light, Volume 1, Series 1. Look, we're going to dive into this. We ain't going to waste too much time in this introduction. Let's roll. Sari was paying a courtesy call on his former pupil. Granted, Ramses had no further need of a tutor. Admittedly, Sari had played no part in coaching the prince to the first place in the highly competitive royal scribe examination. Nevertheless, the prince's coat reflected favorably on his teacher. As the newly appointed director of the cap, he was set for life. I must admit you amaze me, Ramses, but don't let it go to your head. You righted a wrong and rescue Amanai. Isn't that enough? I'm not sure I understand. You asked me once to advise you behind the scenes, help you tell your friends from your enemies. The only true friend I see is Amanai. Others resent your success, but that won't hurt you, provided you get out of Memphis and settle in the South. You sound like my brother. Sorry was momentarily nonplussed. Don't read too much into things, Ramsey, but stay away from the palace. This reception is not for you. I'm a royal scribe, am I not? Believe me, your presence there will be neither welcome nor wise, and if I choose to attend, you will still be a royal scribe, but without a posting. Don't cross Shinar. If you do, you're your own worst enemy. 1,600 sacks of wheat and as many of other grains have been brought to the royal palace. Thousands of fancy cakes and rolls would be baked. Sweet beer and oasis grown wine will flow. Thanks to the pharaoh's efficient stewards, by the time the first star appeared in the night sky, the guests at the reception would enjoy the best the palace had to offer. Ramses was amongst the first to arrive at the monumental gates to the palace complex, flanked night and day by the pharaoh's private guard. The centuries knew Seti's younger son by sight, yet still checked his credentials before allowing him entry to the vast, almost forested garden. An artificial lake reflected the ancient acacias. Here and there were tables laden with baskets of bread and sweets, stands with floral arrangements. Cupbearers poured wine and beer into alabaster goblets. The prince fixated on the central building where he knew royal audiences also took place. The rooms were covered with shiny ceramics. Visitors marveled at the play of colors. Before he was sent to the Royal Academy, Ramses had played in the private suites and even ventured as far as the steps to the throne room. Though not without a sound scolding from his nursemaid, the one who had suckled him until he was 3 years old. He still remembered his glimpse of Pharaoh's throne, a base carved with scenes showing Mot, the essence of truth and harmony. Now let's pause right there for a minute. Let's reflect on, even as a prince, this man was still, what's the word? ID'd. You feel what I'm saying? Still had to provide some type of identification to prove who he is. So, what was going on back then? You get what I'm saying? Was it a lot of lookalikes going on back then? Was there things going on back then where that you could fool a person's appearance? You know what I mean? You can fool people by your appearance. Come on now. Once again, there is nothing new under the sun. The presentation is just different. You get what I'm saying? There's things, we can read in this book and we can relive. We can really, really relive it. You got what I'm saying? And I like the part about who Ramses is talking to, is explaining to him that he shouldn't read in too deep into something. You get what I'm saying? A lot of us go too deep into something that has no meaning, has no bearing, has nothing that is concrete. Nothing. You get what I'm saying? I'm talking about absolutely nothing. You know, I just this morning, you got what I'm saying? I'm waking up, I'm sitting there saying to myself, you know what I mean? Yesterday was a good day. I'm sitting there saying to myself that, you know, let me speak about this sun to the people again, and maybe, just maybe, they'll get what I'm understanding why that is hell. And then when I go and I research, you know what I mean, because I'm looking for information, through Google to back me in what I'm saying. And when you research atoms and neutrons, what do you understand? That when you keep, if you add atoms and neutrons to fire, you get a combustion of light, right? Right? And it tells you that that light is other atoms multiplying, right? 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 Okay. But let's take wood. Wood has atoms in it. You get what I'm saying? Doesn't that wood disappear? So you have to what? Keep adding wood to it? Right? Come on now. Come on. If you're viewing, come on. Do you not have to keep adding wood to a fire to keep it burning? You have to, even a chemical, you feel what I'm saying? Even a chemical fire, you still have to keep adding gasoline. Eventually it burns out. You feel what I'm saying? You get it? You understand? So if you're going to tell me hell, if you're going to tell me that sun is heaven, you understand me? If you're going to tell me that sun is heaven and that's who you pray to, that sun, and you think that your soul is coming back, it's not. It's just not. If you add an atom to fire and you get a combustion and it turns into a light, why do things have to keep being added for it to keep having a motion, a movement, a progress? Why does it? You get what I'm saying? Do you really understand this? You get it? You understand? Somewhere I read, you got what I'm, in my readings, way before I started just reading on social media, somewhere I read that, the first thing whom we prayed to created was light. That sun was created. So if you tell me that whom we pray to is the all-seeing, all-knowing, there was a prison, there was a place of extermination built before life was built. You get what I'm saying? And then when and then to connect the dots, when we go back into Stolen Legacy, if you go check out the Stolen Legacy readings, it tells you the demiurge threw out 4 body parts, the 4 elements of the world. You get me? Fire, water, earth, air. You get me now? Look, let's dive back into this reading, you know what I mean? I wanted to share that because this is if you're really viewing, you're really following along, whether you're reading or not, or whether you're listening, I'm not saying it's dull and it's boring, but where's the fruit? You understand what I'm saying? Where's the fruit in this? So I want to give you something that I sat back, woke up, had on my mind that I wanted to share with the world. And I want to share it in this reading so that you will understand not to worship or pray to that sun. You get what I'm saying? No, you don't pray to that sun. You take that sun's energy, and that is what atoms and neutrons do when you throw them in fire. It produces a energy. Ramses had hoped that the royal scribes would be allowed inside the palace, but it was obviously not to be. Seti would simply have the guests gather in a vast courtyard, then appear in a window and give a short speech reiterating the scope and importance of their duties and responsibilities. How could he manage to speak to his father privately? The king had been known to mingle briefly with his subjects and greet a few of the most notable. Ramses, had achieved a perfect score on the scribe's examination that alone solved the final riddle. He would not be amiss in approaching Seti to ask why the king ignored him. If he was really meant to leave Memphis for some obscure post in the provinces, he wanted to hear it directly from Pharaoh. Let's end this reading, this part of this chapter 9 reading, and we will resume next week. I just want to say this to you again, it's easy to wanna say that sun is heaven. It's easy to say. I don't believe this is heaven. I don't believe this is this and this is that. Sometimes because of your environment. Sometimes because of the company you keep, and you don't want to be the outsider. You get what I'm saying? If you ever notice when you get on your righteous path, how many of your associates, of your friends are going to walk that righteous path with you? How many? How many look at you like you're crazy? How many comes around to pull you back in? Every day, come on, let's go do this. Next thing you know, you're in some feverish. You get what I'm saying? You back doing the stuff that you're trying to get away from. How many of you? How many? That's the devil card. You get what I'm saying? That's the devil don't want your soul to be let go. That's the devil coming around in the form of your associates, of who you know, of who you're familiar with, of who you trust to break your life down once again. You understand what I'm saying? And I didn't get this young lady name yesterday, you know what I mean? Very cute woman. You got what I'm saying? I like what she said. At the age of 30, she has opened her mind to realize the mistakes she have made in her life. And like I explained to this young woman, at 30, you get it, then the rest of your life should be successful. The rest on her. You get me? All she have to do is sit back and think everything through. Everything through. And believe me, it's going to be some hiccups. It's going to be some bumps. It's going to be some detours made. But as long as she know when she see that hiccup, you get what I'm saying? To realize that, okay, I could have died. You can die from hiccups. That's like your heart. A hiccup is like your heart is stopping and then restarting again. If I'm accurate in what I'm saying and what I've been taught before, you know what I mean. The bump in the road. If you're very patient and slow to ride over that bump, then you're not going to mess the shocks up in your car. You get what I'm saying? So if you sit back and you choose the best solution to your decisions, you should prevail, right? Cool. You've been with the Nasty Pastor. This has been another read from Ramses, Volume 1, The Son of Light. I'm out. I love you.